Well, hello there, guys. First stream on the channel. Let's do it. What's up, Frederick? What's up, Tomas? D&D 99. I wasn't going to stream today, and then I was like, you know what? I want to stream on the other channel, so we're doing it. This is going to be... Wait. Oh, God. I didn't mute my phone. It's my first stream ever. Alright. Since I'm doing a lot of stuff on the computer, I'm not going to have the chat up, so it's on my phone. I already forget what I was saying. We can get rid of starting soon, because we have started. So this is going to be pretty in-depth, so if you're coming into it and you just don't know anything about this yet, it's going to seem like a lot, and I'm going to level with you guys. Making a character, especially like your first time, it feels like it's a lot of work, but as you get into it and make multiple characters, you start to see, you know, quick ways to do it. It's not that bad. I enjoy it now that, you know, I know how to do it quick. But I'm going to go through pretty much everything. It's going to be a full tutorial. If anybody has questions regarding character creation, like what we're doing today, I'll answer them. Any other questions in general about D&D or making a character or anything, I will save, and at the end we'll do like a Q&A for all of the unrelated stuff to making a character. First question is, can you guys hear the music, and is it like scratchy? Because I was listening to it and it sounded bad, but I think it was my speakers. I think for you guys it should sound okay. The little map you see here with the characters has nothing to do with that, just we're playing tavern music, so I put up a nice little map with a couple characters. If you're playing D&D online and using a virtual tabletop, you're going to be using something like this, and using the tokens as like your characters, your NPCs. It's going to be 40 years long. You always want 24-hour streams on the other channel, so you know what? No complaining. So yeah, first question is, can you guys hear the music? And is it too loud, too soft? Is it sounding bad? You can hear the music and sounds good? Okay, so it's just my speakers. I'll have to like unplug them, replug them later. I can't hear it, but I don't care. So again, it's going to be very in-depth. So let's pull up a character sheet. We have one made already, brand new one. Wait, where is it? Oh, there it is. So whether you're playing online or in real life, you're going to have a sheet kind of like this. This is the official one. People have made like custom ones where things look different. Like this will be over here, so on and so forth. So looking at this for the first time, your thoughts are probably, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff. And you're right. There is a lot of stuff, but bear with me. All of these zeros, all of these numbers are going to be filled in automatically by this program, but obviously you do it by hand in IRL. So, you can start by picking your species or race, or your class, or a background. So, I think for this first one, we're going to go real simple. We're going to make a human fighter. That's as simple as it gets. We're not going to do an elf with all their extra stuff, or a dwarf. And we're not doing a spellcaster with all their spells. That will be separate. We're going bare bones here. It's complicated? Nah, you got this. I'm a good teacher. So we're going to be a human fighter. So class, fighter. And again, you would have this sheet in front of you, IRL, and just fill in the blanks. So see right away, we picked fighter. So as a human, let's see. We don't need a subrace. We don't have a subclass yet. We are level 1. Some classes get a subclass at level 1 or 2 or 3. Don't worry about subclass for now. Essentially, your fighter could be a cavalier riding on a horse, or you could specialize in knocking people down and disarming them. There's all kinds of variants. We're not going to get into those. We're going to do our stats now. So how we do stats, there's a couple ways. I have notes right here. So you could use the standard array in the player's handbook. These numbers you would just plug into here. And then if you were a, let's say a halfling, you would get like extra points into your dexterity, like racial bonuses, but we're a human. So let's look at human. And this is all D&D Beyond. Human details. They got lore and how they came to be and how they look normally, whatever. Lots of info here, but we don't need to worry about any of that. We're worrying about human traits right here. Your ability scores each increase by 1. Pretty nice. Age, they usually say like the lifespan, the size, your walking speed, we need that. It is very complicated the first time you're looking at it. I know, I remember my first character. So all these traits, I'm just going to copy and paste into the character's notes. If we can do like bio, feats and traits. And again, if you were playing IRL, pencil and paper, you don't have to write all this. You could abbreviate stuff. You don't need to worry about the age. I'm just putting it here so we have all of it. So the only things we need to worry about right now are ability scores go up by 1. And their speed we can actually put in right now. That's how quick they can move in battle in 1 turn. And they have 30 speed. Most characters like humans, elves have 30 speed. The shorter classes have 25 because them little legs. Alright, let's do our stats. So again, standard array is... where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's hiding. So we can use these numbers, and then since we're a human, we get +1 to all of them. So we would add 1 to each of these, and then plug them into wherever we want to go. But rolling is more fun. There's a second page, there's 3 pages. But the first one is the only one that really matters. So, I usually have my players roll, because rolling is more fun. But if you're really focused on you want all the characters to feel equal and not have some be super strong and others kind of be weak, I would say go with the standard array because they have to use the same numbers and then they add their modifiers based on their race. If they're a dragonborn, they would get more strength, so on and so forth. I'll go over all the races another time. So we're going to roll. And we can roll right in this program because it's cool. So let me move this stuff out of the way. Actually, what I'll do is we'll get rid of the character sheet for now. Everything got saved. And we'll put the numbers that we roll right into our notes. That's easy. So, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm just going to do my way. We're going to roll 4d6. So if you're familiar with the dice from Monopoly and Clue, they're 6-sided dice, right? So that's a d6. And we're going to roll 4 of them. And then we're going to drop the lowest number. That's a pretty good roll. Oh, I was looking at that one. This one's not as good. So we're going to drop one of the 2s because that's the lowest. 4, 4, and 2 is 10. So we have a 10. Now, you don't have to put this into strength just because strength is the first one in the list. You're going to get 6 numbers and then plug them in wherever you want. So let's keep doing that. 4d6, and I might as well do that and copy it because we're going to be doing it a couple times. I don't know if you can see, but the dice are actually rolling in the background right there. Damn! 4d6. George from Star Wars. R2D2. And C3PO. Those are the only ones I know. The basic ones. So we got a 3, which we're dropping. We got a 5, a 6, and a 5. So if it's green, obviously, whatever die you rolled, that's the highest number you can get, is the 6 on a d6. So we're dropping the 3. We got a 16 fat for our next stat. And we do this 6 times because there are 6 different stats to do. We're dropping that 1, and it's 9, so it's 13. Decent. Sometimes I will let the players roll 7 times and they can drop the lowest one, but having bad stats, believe it or not, is fun, and I'll get into that later. We are not rolling too well, but that's okay. Because flaws make the character more fun to play. Oh, look at that. Another 16? Yeah. So we have our numbers. We have 6, right? Yep. So we're not going to plug those in just yet. We're going to go over the stats, and I'm going to quickly explain what they do. What each one provides your character. Okay. So the most intimidating thing is probably these, right? All these skills. And the saving throws. So let's go over those. Actually, let's start with the proficiency. We're level 1, and there's a chart, so every time you level up... Let me see. There's a chart. I'm actually going to find it right now. Why is Roll20 so slow? Here we go. So at first level, +2. Second level, still +2. It doesn't go up until level 5, then it's +3. Now, proficiency, you don't have to worry about. It essentially means you're adding your proficiency bonus to things you're good at. Things that you are knowledgeable about or skilled with. So, as a fighter, let's see, we'll go to classes, we'll go to fighter. We're sticking to our stats for now, we'll worry about HP later. Our proficiencies for saving throws are strength and constitution. So, strength, constitution, and it adds our proficiency bonus. Real quick, saving throws are basically your ability to resist something. So, if we were going to be poisoned by a creature, let's say a slime attacked us and is attempting to poison us, we would make a constitution saving throw. Dexterity is like trying to get out of the way of something. Strength is trying to resist like something coming at you. Intelligence if they're attacking your brain. Wisdom and charisma. Charisma is like if someone's casting a spell on you, trying to make you friends with them when you don't like them. So we're good at strength and con for a fighter, because we're tough physically. We have no spells, but we're tough. And then we had skills. We can choose 2 skills from acrobatics, which allows you to stay on your feet in a tricky situation or perform an acrobatic stunt. So think Spider-Man. Animal handling, you're good with dealing with animals. Athletics is jumping, swimming, running, pushing, lifting. History is history. Insight is reading people's mood or intentions. We all know what intimidation is. Perception is trying to, like, notice something, like somebody stepping on a branch when they're trying to sneak up on you. And survival is like tracking and foraging. Basically, if you're in the wilderness, you know you'll survive. Survival, right? So, whoever's here, you guys can pick. We're picking 2 between all of these. There are some that are better than others, but we're just making a character for fun. So what would you like this fighter to be good at? This human fighter. Do we want him to be acrobatic or more like tough or a little bit of both? We get to pick 2. Don't worry about the equipment. We're not going to do equipment today. We're just going to make the character just a template. And then maybe we'll equip him another time. Or her. So acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. I'll let you guys pick. Or I'll pick if you guys don't want to. Let's see. Both? Well, we can only pick 2 of these. So you're saying like tough and acrobatics? So we'll go with acrobatics and athletics. That would be like, yeah, that's a mix of both. Yeah, like I said at the beginning, it is a lot of work, especially your first time. Like, I've done it so many times now that I can just make one without looking anything up. Like, I know what this race gets, I know what this class gets. But your first time, it is a lot. But it's awesome, especially if it's your first character. You get to really experience everything. Alright, so we will be good at acrobatics and athletics. So if you'll notice, we're getting +2s like crazy, right? Because we're proficient with those. That's why I checked them. So we're not as good at moving away, but we're pretty strong. That takes care of the skills. That's it for now. Let's plug the stats in and then we can do some more stuff. So, as a fighter, where is my... There it is. So we get 1 to every stat just from being a human, right? So we're going to up everything by 1 real quick. Humans are pretty busted, I'm not going to lie. Adding 1 to everything is ridiculous. Because we have 2 17s now. Alright. So. We kind of went over these a little bit, but strength is how strong you are physically. Dexterity is your quickness. Constitution is how tough you are. Intelligence is how smart you are. Wisdom is how perceptive you are. And charisma is how charismatic you are. How convincing you can be. Persuasive. So for a fighter, I'll just plug them in like as most people would, but you could make a fighter who is weak but very smart. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. But if we were trying to make a fighter who in general would be good at fighting, because that's what a fighter would do, right? We're going to put a 17 into strength and a 17 into dexterity because we want him to be fast and strong, which he is, because look, now we get a bonus. Here's a part that is going to be a little confusing, but I'll wait until we put in an even number. Let's see. So we're done with our 17s. Get rid of those. We have a 14 as our next highest, which I would probably put into Constitution, which is how tough we are, and also how much HP we have. And then we have a 10 and 2 11s. Can you give the fighter any weapon? Yes. Fighters are proficient with all weapons, and all shields, and all armors, because that's their thing. They are fighting. So if you were to make a wizard, you're not proficient with like battle axes and armor. You can take feats as you level up if you want to be like an armored mage type character. But fighters just get it all because they're fighters. They're soldiers. They are most likely going to be in the front line unless you make a fighter that's an archer, which is an option as well. So 10 is our worst stat. Whatever we put 10 into, we're probably never going to worry about, which, honestly, intelligence, right? We don't have to be smart, book smart. We can be smart on the battlefield. And then we have 2 11s, which take up wisdom and charisma, because why not? So the part I said that was really confusing isn't that confusing when you look at these numbers. So you'll see that our intelligence is a 10. This big number is our modifier. See how it says intelligence mod? So anything involving intelligence, we would add 0 because we're not smart. We have an 11 as our total in wisdom, and it's still a 0. But if I was to make charisma 12, it's +1. So for every even number pretty much, so 10 is 0, 12 would be 1, 14 would be 2, like in Constitution. So if these were 18s, they would be +4. The first time I heard that, it was a little confusing, but when I describe it as even numbers, it should help a bit. Frederick, if your game has guns in it, then you totally could. There are options for like gunslingers and stuff. You can play D&D as a Western game too. You can just make it Western themed and use this system. In my games, I usually go a little more fantasy medieval, so no guns or cannons or stuff like that. But a lot of people like that. It's just not for me. So we don't need these notes anymore. Let's get these out of here. So we're pretty front-loaded on our physical attributes and not so great on everything else. But you know what? That's how it goes sometimes. Let me make sure. Let's see. We're not going to worry about the languages too much. I will say there's a lot of languages. Pretty much everybody gets common, which is, you know, English. That's what everybody speaks. And one extra language. This is where you start to really get to customize your character outside of their, like, combat prowess and their stats. That's only half of it. The other half is your personality, your experiences, your goals, your flaws. So, for example, I could be a human that reads and writes common, and also dwarvish. Maybe he was adopted by a dwarf because he's an orphan, because all D&D characters are orphans. And his dwarf father taught him his language, Dwarven. And that's why he would speak that. So if you come across some dwarves and nobody in the party can understand them because they don't speak common, you can speak to them. So we got that. The last thing, when it comes to like what you're picking, the big ones are race, which we did, class, which we did, and then a background. A background will give us other skills that we didn't pick, as well as a feature. So I'm just going to go through these, and I'll let you guys pick. There's Acolyte, there's Charlatan, Criminal or Spy, Entertainer, Folk Hero, Gladiator, Guild Artisan or Merchant, Hermit, Knight, Noble, Outlander, Pirate, Sage, Sailor, Soldier, or Urchin. I know it's a lot of options. There's a ton more. These are just the ones in the player's handbook. I should have said there are a billion more options, but we're doing just the base player's handbook from 2014. So if any of these sound cool, shout them out and we'll add it. And we'll look at what it actually says. There's like a little description, but I'm not going to do those for all the backgrounds. Backgrounds are one of my favorite part. That really, like, your race and class are like what you can do based on just your heritage and your skill set based on your experiences. But this is like who your character really is. Yo, nonsense. What's up, bro? Frederick wants a knight. We will be a knight. And they want me to pay. Nope. We'll do D&D 5e knight background. Let's see. This one should be it. Nope, that's a custom thing. What if we just do this? There we go. Now here's where all the ones are. We'll skip through those real quick. They don't have just normal knight? Nope. One moment. This is weird. Yeah, they want me to pay, but I already have all the books. I might just grab the freaking book if I can't. Oh, never mind. We're here. Oh, boy. We're gonna do night. See, there's all this extra stuff. And I think these are mostly homebrew. There's not this many. Alright, screw it. I'm getting the book, and I'll read it. Because I'm not paying them money. Luckily, I have the book right here. I can't do the camera, so I can't show it. You'll have to just believe I am reading from a book. Player's Handbook from the shelf. I grabbed the DM guide instead. There's the Player's Handbook. I forgot that D&D Beyond is a great resource, but they want you to pay for everything. To have, like, the books online. It's basically Frederick's worst nightmare, where everything is digital. It's helpful, again, but I like my physical stuff. Alright, criminal. It's crazy it can't be found, like, easy. There's that. Where the hell is Knight? I don't know my ABCs, guys. Oh, there it is. It's a... Okay. So we all know, in general, what a knight is, right? They're fighting for some sort of cause. They're part of a group. So, as opposed to soldier, who is more like they've been in wars, a knight is like in town, keeping the peace, guarding a noble or royalty, right? Yo, I have Gauntlet on the GameCube. I love that game. It sounds horrible. Alright, so essentially, let's see. You have the service of 3 retainers loyal to your family. These retainers can be attendants or messengers, and one might be a major domo, which I don't know what the hell that is. They're basically your... They're commoners that will do things for you. I don't want to use a specific word, but they work for you and you don't really pay them. So they won't fight for you or do anything dangerous, but if you have to, like, pick up a suit of armor from the blacksmith, you can send one of them to do it, which is pretty funny, actually. I've never played a knight as a background. So, background. Usually it's up here. That's fine. We'll just put it as subrace we're a knight. That's not how you spell it. So again, we're going to just make the character as in terms of this character sheet. But when you're a knight, obviously you get to choose your story. Like, what makes you a knight? Was your father a soldier in a war and passed down, you know, his weapons and armor to you, and you're now the strength in your family's house? Think of it as, I guess, if you guys have seen Mulan, like, each family has, like, a warrior that will represent them. You're that for your family. Yo, do it, man. I'll watch for sure. So we don't have to worry about the lore, but that's my favorite part. More than the numbers, I like making the character how they, you know, would act and all that. So let's talk about... Oh, wait, we're not done with this yet, because picking knight also gives you some proficiencies that we don't have yet. So when we picked fighter, we could pick which ones we get. A background just gives you some. A yellow sword and a purple cape. And have a mask, maybe? You could make a humanoid version of Meta Knight. Fight me. So we get history and persuasion, which aren't great for, like, if you're trying to, like, min-max, meaning trying to just make your character OP. But it's a cool roleplay thing if you have a fighter who actually, like, enjoys history and has studied it. That's a cool little character trait. And persuasion, maybe he's super handsome and people just think he's good looking, so they listen to him, you know? Or he's very loud and kind of demanding demeanor, so people listen to him. That would be more intimidation, probably. We get a tool proficiency. Now, all backgrounds give you extra stuff, extra proficiencies. So you get one type of gaming set. So it can be a card, a set of like dice for like a dice rolling game. It can be cards. It can be any kind of game that you can think of. You like know how to play it, and you have the stuff to do it. So if you want to be a fighter who likes to gamble, you can have a deck of cards. You can gamble in D&D. You can do anything in D&D. We get an extra language, another one of our choice. So let's just do what we did before. Let's say language, we have common, just from being a human, right? That's like our English. We have dwarven. Can I type it? Oh, here. Because our dad was an adoptive dwarf or whatever. And then we get to pick one more. Let's say Elven is a very common one too. So we can speak Elven. And you can think of a cool reason why. But now we have 3 languages. There are a lot of languages. The tool proficiencies I'm not really going to put down, but we have a gaming set. And then you get equipment, which, again, you're going to have an inventory and keep track of all your items. So I'm not going to put them here because they're not really important. But it's a set of fine clothes, a signet ring, a scroll of pedigree, and a purse containing 25 gold pieces. So we'll keep track of the gold here, and we'll go over the currency really quick. CP, copper pieces, silver pieces. Oh god, I forget what this is. Because honestly, this is all very complicated. I just use gold pieces and I don't care about anything else, just to keep it simple. I think this is platinum. I don't remember what the E is actually, because I literally only use gold. Sometimes I'll do copper, silver, and gold, but gold is just easier. Let's see. That's everything for our knight. So our class, race, and background are done. So essentially, all the things we're good at and our stats are set. Put the player's handbook over here. I appreciate you guys being here for the first stream. Now we get into some stuff that I'm going to let you guys pick. Some personality traits, some ideals, some bonds, and some flaws. Now, flaws are very fun. I actually prefer to play those out rather than my strengths when I'm playing a character. Think of... let's see. Let's say a barbarian, a big, strong guy, not very bright, even dumber than our character. His intelligence is probably an 8 or a 6. So he has a negative modifier to his intelligence. Or we'll say charisma. And he's trying to haggle with a shopkeep, trying to get a thing for less money than it's costing him. He's so bad at it that if you roll low and then subtract your modifier, the shopkeeper might be like, okay, instead of 100 gold, you can give me 200. And the barbarian's so stupid, they think that's a deal and they take it. Like, that's a hilarious moment. On the flip side, if you roll very high, the merchant might actually give him a discount. And then it's funny that your uncharismatic barbarian that can barely speak got a deal. He was persuasive. So flaws are very fun. So if you guys want to pick any traits, ideals, bonds, or flaws, put them in the chat and they will get added. And then if we need more, I will fill in the blanks. And while you guys do that, I'm going to do our HP. We're level 1. So we get 10, 12. We have 12 HP. temporary hit points, think of them as like if you're playing a video game and, you know, the boss has 1,000,000,000 health bars, think of this as another health bar. You could drink a potion and you get 5 temporary hit points. So if the skeleton deals 5 damage to you with their sword, those are gone. Now you have 12. If it does 6, you lose your 5, and then you would lose 1 of your actual hit points. They come back when you rest and stuff, though, because they are not temporary. So let's go with the idea that he was adopted and he's representing his family, which is just his dwarven father. So he's probably got a unique setup, right? We also don't have to go with the dwarven father. He could just know these because he likes history and he's interested in languages. So we'll say his bond. I'll put 1 as family. He's basically, what's the name of I can't even think of the actor's name. Come on, Fast and Furious. Family. I can't even think of the actor's name. Vin Diesel. I don't know his name in Fast and Furious, though. We're making Vin Diesel the fighter. Which is funny, because Vin Diesel plays D&D. He's a huge D&D nerd, actually. I believe since he was a kid. You could think of anything, Frederick, or anybody else. What does he believe in? What are his traits? What are his flaws? Flaws are so fun. I love it. Flaws. Let me move my mic over here. Hopefully you guys can still hear me okay. His name is Dom. I think he is. I think his name is Dom. We're making Vin Diesel the fighter. If I actually knew him and told him about this, he would actually love it. So not confident. That's a great flaw, because knights are supposed to be brave, and he kind of isn't. Let's see. For personality traits, think of like a quirk. We have an interesting character already, because he's interested in languages and stuff, but his intelligence is 10. Now, keep in mind, a 10 is average. So, an average person would be all straight 10s if they were just okay at everything. 10 is not bad. It's once you get to the 8, where you start getting negatives, that it becomes a negative thing. But 10 is average. It's fine. You're not good at it, but you're not bad. He could be religious. We'll do an ideal. He's religious. That's how you spell it, yeah. We can do 1 personality trait. Like he has a stutter. I would say he's like really bad at balance, but he's got acrobatics, so he's probably very good at like keeping his balance and stuff. Actually, DH? Actually, what's up, dude? A lot of big names actually like D&D. Wait, Muscle Man jokes? For a trait, we'll just say... How about he's always wanting to learn new things? And we could say he's kind, yes. You can have as many of these as you want. You could have 27 flaws if you want. Your character would probably be bad at a lot of things when it comes to roleplay, but yeah. We can do 1 for each of them and we'll keep 2 for this. That's fine. I like the wanting to learn new things because he has 0 intelligence, pretty much. He's got average intelligence. But we have history proficient from our knight background. And we got an extra language. So he's interested in, upping his game in the intelligence department. That's awesome. So we have these done. We have attacks and spellcasting. So here's where you would type. We'll do a really quick example. We're going to give him a longsword. Actually, what kind of weapon do you guys want to give him? He's a short fella. We'll make him short. That would be... I mean, it's not a flaw. What about sensitive about his height? He's not a gnome or a halfling or a dwarf, but he's shorter than most humans. He's 5'2" or something. Code of Honor? We'll do that for ideals. And then you can make that whatever you want. It could be, he's Batman. He refuses to kill people, even when they deserve it, in his opinion. He will not do it. He's sounding kind of like a paladin, but we're not going to get into paladins right now. We're going to stay fighter, because that's nice and simple. I might do a couple... I'll do like a video for every class and every race. It might be like AI voiced, though, because I don't do good with scripted stuff. We'll see. A hammer? I love it. Are we going with a two-handed hammer? Oh, you know what? Yeah, we have to give him a large hammer then. Okay. So we're going to give him a... I guess it would be called a... just battle hammer. Whatever. It's based on his strength. He is proficient. Now, this stuff, don't worry too much about it. The damage would be 1d12 plus his strength. It would be a bludgeoning weapon. So when it comes to weapons, there's slashing, which would be like a longsword. There's piercing, which would be like a dagger or an arrow. And then bludgeoning is just smashing. Warhammer, that's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. That's what it's officially called. So he's a little human, but he's got a giant hammer. I love it. AI ew? Well, I'm not ready to do scripted stuff. I say and stuff way too many times. So that's his weapon attack. So just to tell you, to explain where the +5 comes from, it's not random. So we are proficient with a Warhammer, so we get +2. We have a +3 to our strength, so that's 5. Does that make sense? Now, what's cool about Roll20 and playing online, I like rolling my dice physical and having my stuff on my table physical, but this has advantages. When I want to attack, we just click Warhammer. And it did our rolls. It gives 2, I'll explain that maybe later. But this would be, we'll take a 9. A 9 is probably going to miss most things. Character design? Dude, we are going to. We're going to pick like a piece of art, some image on Google for our character. Actually, why don't I just explain this now? So it rolled for us already. It rolls 2 times because there are things called advantage and disadvantage. And if you guys watched my, I think it was in the dice video. It might have been in the Q&A. Advantage is you roll 2 d20s to see if you hit. And you take the higher one because you threw sand in their eyes first, so they can't see, they're easier to hit. Disadvantage is the opposite. You would take the lower number, so we would take the 9. Because sand got thrown in our eyes and we can't see our enemy. So a 9 would miss. But if we had advantage, we would get that 22. That's going to hit most things. I'm loving this character. We have to just, like, Photoshop Vin Diesel's face on a gnome body with a giant hammer. Jesus. Your character in Skyrim has a warhammer? I think my Lydia has a hammer as her, like, specialty. A two-handed one. Let's see. We're not going to worry about subclass. For the most part, we're done. Like, this is our character. We did everything for our human stuff. We can do equipment, I guess, and you guys can pick them. So when it comes to how much gold you have and what equipment you start with, it's up to the DM. So in my games, like, these are, if you're going by the book for everything, you have to pick one of these. You can't, like, mix and match. You can't get anything else. I don't like that. I like to give my players each the same amount of gold, even if it's like one character is a performer, a bard, and makes a lot of money, and the other is like a beggar. I'll give them the same amount of gold, and I'll be like, okay, the beggar, like, a very wealthy donor came through and gave them a big pile of gold, and that's why they have the same as the bard. So that everybody's equal. And then they can spend the money on whatever they want. In the player's handbook, all the weapons and armor and arrows and potions, everything has a price. So you would go by that, and then just pick whatever you want to be equipped with. We have our Warhammer, which you see is not an option here. Actually, we could pick A and then get a martial weapon. Oh, I see. Wait, I'm dumb. We pick one from each of these, is what I meant to say. So we can get chainmail and 2 weapons and 2 hand axes and an explorer's pack. You pick A or B for each one. Yes, like my beautiful piles of gold. DG, what's up? Let's see. We do have a couple more things to do, actually. I forgot about that. I thought that was at level 2. You're so happy right now? Tell me why. DH, that is absolutely possible. Give him some lifts. That could be like one of his secrets. So, let's say, for this, we picked a Warhammer and a shield. So he's got a shield as well. And again, it's up to the player here. But I write down everything my character gets. Is this inventory? Oh no, this is something else. So let's do inventory here. So when I play IRL, I make a list just on a piece of paper of everything my character owns. So we'll just say Warhammer, shield. He has a gaming set, and we'll just say cards for now. He had, like, even little things that don't give you boosts in combat. Like the signet ring, you could just use that to be like, yo, I'm a knight, and here's my proof, let me through. Or you can dress up fancy for parties. You just won Fire Red Cut. What? Dude, congrats! Who did you win with? What was the moveset? Tell me everything. Congratulations, man. That's huge. I still have to try it. He had some other stuff, but we're going to just leave it at this for now. Fighter. So for armor, he's pretty quick and agile, so let's give him leather armor, and he can be an archer if he needs to put away the Warhammer. So leather armor, longbow. And leather armor. And we'll do 2 hand axes because we don't want a bow and a crossbow. Again, this seems like it does take a lot of time, and it does until you get used to stuff, and then you can just kind of make a character like that. If you guys want, I can do an example of, like, me just making a character kind of quick. I'm officially a D&D fan. It's the best game ever. I love video games, you guys know that, but oh my god, D&D is a million times better than any video game can ever be. We'll do it this way. Actually, if I was legit doing it, I would do it like this and just edit as I was using stuff. When it comes to arrows, like, some DMs will be like, don't worry, you don't have to track them. Don't have to worry about running out or restocking. I like keeping track, because usually players like having to go shopping and spend their money. There have been a couple sessions where the party just shopped and checked out all the shops I've made and see what they could buy. And then the last one is a Dungeoneers pack versus an Explorers pack. So, backpack, crowbar, hammer, pittance, torches, tinderbox, rations, water skin, 50 feet of rope. So, basically like survival stuff. We're just going to say Explorers pack would probably fit him better. Now again, because I'm extra, I would, instead of putting this, I would put all the stuff it listed, but we'll just do this to make things easy. Not that. Okay, and then at level 1, we get to pick a fighting style. I'll go over them real quick. So, archery is you get a +2 bonus on attack rolls with ranged weapons. So, throwing our hand axes or shooting our bow, we get +2 to hit. Defense, while you're wearing armor, you gain 1 to your armor class. Dueling, if you're wielding one weapon in one hand and a shield in the other, you do 2 more damage when you hit with your weapon. Great weapon fighting, I think, is the one we're going to pick because of the Warhammer. When you roll a 1 or a 2 on damage die for an attack with a melee weapon that takes 2 hands, you can reroll and try to do more damage. And protection is like a support type thing. And 2-weapon fighting is 2 weapons at the same time. Dual wielding. But we're going to go with great weapon fighting because that just makes sense for his whole character we've created. So we'll go back to his character sheet here. And this will be like his abilities as a fighter. And we can just say fighter 1 because you get it at level 1. And we'll say great weapon fighting. And then just because we're like legit making him, we'll copy and paste the whole thing in there. But essentially, if we roll 1 or 2 on our damage, we can re-roll and hope to roll higher. Boom. Now that is everything for fighter. Oh, I'm sorry. Second wind. This is where second level starts. So we get second wind as well. It's a bonus action. So during your turn, it's a little quick action. If you need a heal, you get to heal a little bit. That's all it is. Fighter 1. You can be Kirito. I kind of want to make a video of all the characters I've made and played as, and like their stories and like what they were about, because I went into pretty big detail. It's a little bit like Miitopia, yeah. You just have a lot of stuff you can do. So this gets stronger as you level. So during your turn, for a bonus action, if you need a quick little heal, you roll 1 10-sided die and you add your fighter level. So at the most we could heal 11, which is pretty damn good considering we have 12 HP. So that's actually a huge heal for us. Now, since we're talking about health, I do want to quickly explain hit points and how I came to the 12. Because I am trying to be thorough here. So, every time you gain a level, your character has a hit die. And it depends on what class you are. Barbarians have the most, they get to roll a d12. Fighters get d10s, and then, you would imagine the wizards and sorcerers get little health dice because they don't get a lot of health. So you would roll your hit die, and then you would add your constitution bonus. We're level 1, so on the first level, I just let them have 10. I let them hit the max. So he has 10 HP. and he gets 2 from his Constitution modifier. That's how I came up with 12. So if he hits level 2, he's going to roll a d10. Whatever number he gets, he's going to add 2 and add that to the total. Alright, now I can say we are good as far as all this stuff. Inspiration is pretty cool. So let's say this little guy, this little Vin Diesel Warhammer guy, he has no confidence, right? And he sees, let's say he sees a gnome or a halfling, an actual like small race, like they're all small, getting bullied, and he stands up for them and beats the crap out of some bigger guy that was being a bully. That goes against his flaws. He stepped up and was successful in something that he wasn't comfortable with. Me as the DM would be like, yo, that was really fucking cool. I'm going to give you a point of inspiration. Boom. And you would just mark it on your sheet. You can only have one at a time, so you can't stack them. And what inspiration does is it allows you to roll a d20 on literally anything. If you're attacking an enemy and miss and you really want to hit, you can use up your inspiration and roll again. If you fail a strength saving throw that you really want to pass, you can use the inspiration and reroll. If you're trying to cheat somebody in a game of cards and you failed, you can try to cheat them with a reroll. So, very flexible. Let's see, we got his gold. So this is where you would put your items. And again, I don't keep track of weight. It's a little unrealistic, but I do it like Skyrim, where everything is just in an invisible abyss and they can just be summoned whenever. So if you need your battle axe, it's in your hands. Oh, you need your longbow? It's in your hands. So some people do it that way. Actually, I misspoke. I do it the other way, where I like keeping track of the weight, but I won't actually, like, you know, add up all the equipment and be like, okay, this is how much you have and this is your carrying capacity. I just make it realistic. Like, a normal, like, this character could have a warhammer and a longbow on his back, and maybe even a shield, because his strength is really freaking high. Remember, 10 is average. He's got 17. Let's put it this way. 10 strength is just an average guy in Walmart, average woman in Walmart. They have 10 strength. Maybe 8, but we'll give him a 10 benefit of the doubt, right? Captain America would have like a 20. Okay? He's juiced up on that super serum. Super soldier serum. The Shadow Wizard Money Gang? I mean, that's what I do. I take inspiration from stuff I like for my characters. I will talk about my favorite character that I've played the most once we're done with Dom for now. Now, I think what a cool thing is going to be is I purposely wanted to make a character first, because now when I do tutorials on like combat and stuff, we can use Dom as an example. I'll have all of his stats ready to go, so it'll be familiar. And then maybe we'll add some other characters to introduce some new classes and races down the road. But, I mean, it's done. You don't really need anything else here. Yeah, the serum. We have his stats, we have his combat stuff, we have his abilities, his languages, his items are on the other page, we have his characteristics. We could play this guy, no sweat. And we can kind of play out a scenario. You know what? It's fun. Let's do it. Let's first pick a picture for him. Should we actually just use Vin Diesel? We'll say D&D Human Fighter Short. Do we want Vin Diesel, or do we just pick a short human with a... Oh, Warhammer is what we need. No, two-hand... What is the name of the two-handed hammer? Let me just look it up real quick so we have the correct name and I can search it. Come on, roll 20. I believe in you. Let's do... Well, it should be a heavy weapon. Oh, they're just saying what the things are. Yeah, Warhammer is actually a one-handed one. Oh, never mind. Okay. So a Warhammer has versatile, meaning it can be used in one hand and do a D8, or it can be used in two to do a D10. So it's optional. And he has a shield, so if he needs a little extra defense, he can have a shield and his weapon out. But we wanted, like, a big weapon, right? Now, here's what's cool about D&D. You ready for this? What we were looking for is a mall. Not a shopping mall, but a mall. Let's see where it takes us. So a mall, to me, just based on like my experience with like video games that had malls, they're like wooden with like stones on the end. We're just gonna say it's a big freaking Warhammer because we can do whatever we want. We can call it whatever we want. So it's 2d6 for the damage. Let's change that. 1d12 and 2d6 may seem like it's the same thing, but I would rather let people roll 2 6s. So if they roll 2 1s, at least they do 2 instead of rolling a 1 on a 12-sided die, right? Alright, the damage is fixed. It's not a Warhammer, I guess. I rolled by accident. We're just going to call it Big Effin' Hammer. You can name it whatever you want. Can use the power of thunder? You can make Thor. There are many videos of people being like, what if this character was made in D&D? Like, they made Nightcrawler a tiefling because he's got some, like, devilish blood. Some teleporting abilities. Dual rapiers. Rogue-type character because he could be sneaky and quick. His hammer has a shock stun effect. That's where you get into magic items. At level 1, I'm not going to get too into magic items, but there are some that are very powerful. Like, you can have a hammer like Thor's that does damage. Extra lightning damage, you could throw it and it comes back to you. I had a dwarf, actually, a cleric that was essentially Thor, but he was a little dwarf. Oh, he was fun. But for a level 1 character, there are items that, like... There's a cape that you can just make, like, billow in the wind, I think that's the word. Like, make it shake, and you get advantage on a charisma check. Something like that is not broken, it doesn't, you know, do extra damage or whatever. But it's a nice little roleplay thing. You could scare somebody into giving you a deal on something. So I'll give them, I forget what the thing is called, it's like a common magic item. Something that doesn't really affect too much, but it's a fun little thing that you can have. But for right now, he just has a normal hammer that maybe he calls the Big Effin' Hammer. Oh, Mjolnir? I don't even know how to spell that, bro. Big Effin' Hammer. Ooh, 2 good rolls. Alright, so since we did this, so it's a big two-handed weapon, he can't use this with a shield. Because his strength is so high, I would say he can wield this with a shield, but he would have disadvantage on his attacks, because this is still a very heavy weapon. Which is why it's specifically made to be wielded by somebody using both hands on it, without a shield. What else should we go over? I think we covered pretty much everything. So, armor class. Since I'm here, let me look up... All I remember is leather armor is extremely good. Yep. So, it's a light... So we're not going to be like a walking fortress, you know, that can move slow. He's quick, he's agile, he's got leather armor. Say hello to my hammer. He can be lore-accurate Thor. You can make Thor if you want. Make him a freaking... Oh my god, I guess he would be like a paladin, because he fights... A paladin or a cleric? So it gives a little description of what it'll look like. So right here, AC is armor class. It's your armor. It's what number they have to hit to attack you, to actually hit and do damage. 11 plus our dex modifier. So 11 plus 3, we got 14. It doesn't provide the best armor, but it doesn't slow him down or give him disadvantage on stealth, anything like that. It's quick to put on compared to, you know, full plate armor here. Let's pick like a big breastplate, I guess. Just to compare. Is it one word? Why is there no armor on here? Oh, it's saying an error. I didn't even read it. Rip. We'll just do armor. There's, I think it's studded leather armor is the one I was thinking of that's really good. So again, if my character had enough gold, I could sell the armor I have to get better armor. Let's see. So this is all the light armor. Yeah, so studded leather armor is 13. It's 12 plus dex. So we'd get one more. If we were to go with like a heavy armor, like let's go chainmail. We have disadvantage on stealth checks. We cannot be sneaky because we're wearing heavy ass armor. But we get 16 to our AC. We don't get to add our dex because the armor class is based on just the armor we're wearing, not how quick we are. So we don't get to add our dex to this armor class. And it's heavy as hell if you're keeping track, and you have to have 13 or higher strength, which we do. So there's all types of armors. If you don't care about stealth and you just want to be a freaking tank, you get one of these and you enchant it with more defense. And real quick, shields are very easy. A shield can be made of wood, made of metal, made of a turtle shell, whatever you want. Shields will always give +2 to your AC. So when he's wielding his shield, he gets a 16 to his armor class. He's harder to hit. Can he have a battle cry? He absolutely can. And then you can get like magical shields that have additional effects or give extra AC more than 2. Lots of flexibility in this game. Trying to see if there's anything else I missed. We're not going to do subclasses or level him up. We can do that another time. Let's see. I think we're good as far as making this character. Now we can pick a picture. So we're just going to do D&D Knight Big Hammer. Family. Link from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom prove you can sneak in heavy armor. That's a whole different thing. There aren't checks like there are in this. Like, if you're sneaking and you roll really low, people are going to hear you, and if they're going to kill you, they're going to kill you. But if you're sneaky, you can go right by them, and they will not notice you, and you can have an advantage on them in battle if you're going to fight them. That's where all the dice rolls come in that make this game really fun. Because your character, you know your character's good at some stuff and bad at other things. Sometimes you'll fail something you're very good at, and sometimes you'll succeed in something that you're not meant to succeed in. Oh my god, can we just make him Arnold? Alright, so we've determined that he's a guy because we're basing him off... Well, Vin Diesel isn't small, so we can't really base it off him. But the Dom and family part, absolutely. I guess we can put human, but... Now here's the thing, he's not going to be like short like a gnome or a halfling like the hobbits, but he's going to be shorter than most humans his age. So we'll just pick something whatever for now. Actually, let's just do this. We'll make it real easy. And this is actually a good point. D&D Human Knight Portrait. So you can absolutely get like a full picture like this. And then I would crop it so it's, you know, looks better as a square because we're going to be using the grid. Let's see. So we're just going to use... This is a pretty standard looking guy. We're going to use this for now. And hopefully it's square enough that it won't look weird. And then, I'm not going to save it, but usually you would save this. And then just upload it into here. And, yeah. Can we make Doom Guy? Yeah, you could. I mean, there's no guns, but... In my game, anyway, I usually don't do guns. If I did guns, I wouldn't make it a fantasy game. I'd make it like a Western or a steampunk type atmosphere, universe, whatever. So now when I make tutorial videos for like combat and stuff, we can use Dom as an example. And we'll have his character sheet right here ready to go. Does anybody have any questions? I'm seeing if there's anything else. We can put his gaming set here. Again, this game is all about what you want to do and how much effort you want to put in. He's proficient. We'll say it's Dex. So you could, you know, if you had a piece of paper in front of you, you could write down all of this. Or you could just abbreviate stuff. Or if it's something that you're just never going to forget, you don't have to write it down. So it's not as difficult or long as I made it. I did it very detailed. We can do it totally quicker once you get used to it. And you know what? Since we're going to be using him as an example, we'll say that I give him 100 gold. So he's got 125. So if we do shopping or whatever, we can use our gold. How many main characters can you make? So, the DM, which usually is me, is the one that runs the game. So, let's say... Can I get to that? I can't. See, now it says Dom. Why can't I get out of here? I'm locked in it. No, I'm not. Never mind, I might be. Let me out! Don't worry about any of that. How do I close this? What if I open up another one? I don't use this a whole lot, as you can tell. So we're gonna do... We're just gonna load it again. This site, Roll20, all those pictures you saw were games that I used to play in. Think you understand everything? It's not too bad. Again, I went into very detailed explanation for everything, but really it's pretty simple. So let's say, just for fun, we'll say that this is Dom. I totally forgot where I was going with that now because it didn't work. What was I talking about? Damn it. Brain fart. Because I was talking about... See, now I can open it and it won't lock me into it. So armor class, we did. Initiative is... So if you've played any RPGs that are turn-based, and your character goes based on... What's it called? Oh, I know what I was talking about. Hold on. So he would get +3 to his initiative roll. So everybody in the combat would roll initiative, and then you would make the turn order based on all the rolls. So +3 is pretty good. Speed is how far you can move. Each square is 5 feet, so he could move 6 squares. So if this was a combat scenario, he could move 6 squares. Frederick had asked how many main characters you can make, and I was saying the DM controls all the NPCs. So let's say, who's here? DH, Frederick, and Tomas. So let's say Frederick is playing Dom, Tomas is playing this elf, and DH is playing this little halfling. You guys are controlling them. Frederick's character, Tomas's character, DH's character. I control everybody else. And you guys are free to interact, so let's play out like a scene, I guess. So Frederick, you're playing Dom. Tomas, you're an elf. We'll say you're a druid. And DH, you're a bard. A gnome bard. You walk into this. Here, I'll give you guys the perfect like example of how it would start. Ready? Watch this. Alright. So I would say you guys happened to be on the same job. You were protecting a caravan. We're going to play D&D right now. You guys had a job protecting a caravan, and the gnome was along as like entertainment to keep you guys, you know, morale high. Solid Snake type of character. Oh, he would definitely be a combat rogue, yes. So you guys made it to an inn. So you guys have known each other for like a week now. That's how long it took. So you're comfortable with each other. You don't know each other too well. You're not best friends. What do you guys do? What do you want to do? As you walk in, a halfling woman is playing a violin. This human man is just listening to her. You see a black-robed individual in the corner here, kind of keeping to themselves. We'll say this woman's walking around bringing beer. This guy's keeping the bar. And we have some cooks back here. What would you guys like to do? The woman walks up and welcomes you. And asks if you'd like to sit and have a drink. And then you guys reply, whatever you want to say. We're going to play D&D right now. Don't worry about stats and stuff. I'm very good at making stuff up as we go. Improv. So we'd imagine the elf druid has magic. He's a wood elf, so he's from the forest. He's not too great with social interactions, but he's very perceptive. We know about Dom. And then this guy's just all charismatic. Like, he's a little fiend. Alright, so the druid goes to a table to relax. I would ask what table, if it matters to you. For now, I'm going to put you there, but you can tell me which one you'd want to stay at. Alright, DH, you're going to challenge her to a musical duel. So what we're going to do is I'm going to roll a charisma check. Performance would be your charisma plus your modifier. So we'll say it's +5 for you. So we're going to roll a d20, and you get to add 5. And we're going to say she's on the same level as you. Like, she's just as good. So I need to know, do you want the first number or the second number before I roll? And this is literally like we're playing D&D. This is exactly how we play. Just, what do you guys want to do? Here's what's there. Frederick, I'll do that next. You can absolutely do that. That table's fine? Okay. So you're watching your little friend that you've made challenge this halfling right away. You want the second number? Okay, here we go. Oh, now it's only rolling 1. Okay, so that's her number. Oh, when you do a modifier. I see, I see. So this is your number. I hope you roll higher. Oh, shit. You got a natural 20 +5. I didn't explain natural 20s and natural 1s. So before we continue, if you get a natural 20, most likely whatever you're trying to do is going to work, and it's going to work fucking fantastically. And I'll explain what happens with the bards in a second. If you roll a natural 1, you're probably failing miserably at whatever you do. In combat, a natural 20... Oh, no, I'm sorry. If it's a skill challenge like this, it's not like natural 20 means you automatically succeed. You still have to, like, beat theirs because it's a contested thing. But essentially, 1's really bad, 20's really good. So, what happens between the bards is she's playing and she's doing a pretty good job. She's got 15. That's really solid. You bust out the most amazing song. What's your instrument? Whatever instrument you choose, you play so freaking well that she stops playing and her mouth just opens. And as you're finishing off your performance, she just starts clapping and she's like, "Where did you study? That was amazing." She's very impressed, and she's kind of like stepping to the side, like, maybe, do you want to play for a bit for these people? She's made her money. She's good to kind of just watch you from the side. Maybe she'll sit with this guy and watch. Now that you're performing, any tips would go to you. You can make money just playing music, doing performance checks. We'll go back to Frederick, and then Tomas, I'm going to ask what you're doing, if you're doing anything different next. Frederick said, I'd say yes, you're very beautiful, and ask her out. So you're going with a Riz. So Dom walks over, his big battle axe, or his big effing hammer as we call it. And you give her a compliment, and she says, "Well, thank you very much." He kind of laughs a bit, not like demeaning you, but it's more like she's used to being hit on. Like, look at her. And she's serving people beer. Like, she's hit on at least 25 times a day. So she's heard this many times. But you're trying to ask her out. So you're going to make a persuasion check. And since we have Dom's character sheet, we can look just to make sure. Persuasion is +2. Now, let's see. So normally we just roll a persuasion check. If, let's say, you're asking her out, but Dom is like, he has no confidence, right? Watch this. So because Dom has no confidence, now this is how I would do it, and Frederick, you tell me if it makes sense. He has no confidence. So I doubt he's walking up and asking this woman out. And if he is, which he is, we're going to let that happen because it's D&D. Do whatever the hell you want. But he has no confidence. He's probably going to lie and be like... It would be the equivalent of, "Hello, do you want to take a ride on my yacht?" when he doesn't own a yacht. So it's up to you if he would have confidence and ask her out with persuasion or try to be deceptive. Don't worry about the numbers because you don't get a bonus on deception. What would he do in this situation? Dude, I can't believe you got a 20. 15 was real high. I was like, oh, he might fail. And this is how it would go. I would ask everybody what they're doing. You know, make sure everybody's getting to do something. Right now, DH is performing. So we can say when we come back to you, you'll do another performance check, and we'll see how much money you make based on your performance. You got a natural 20 on the first one, so you're making money. But your continued performance, we'll see how much more you make. He would be honest? Okay, so we'll roll a persuasion check. We're going to take the first number. I think when we roll off the sheet, it does a 2 roll, but we're going to take the first one. So he got an 8. So there are things called DCs. They're difficulty challenge. So I would say for her, so if you're trying to accomplish something, usually it's a contested roll. So she would probably make like an insight check, and we'll just do like this. So in this situation, she rolled low. So here's how this would go down. He doesn't have a lot of confidence, but he's going to suck it up and ask her out. He doesn't do a great job of it. His Riz was an 8 when 10 is average. And she is used to being hit on, so she's got kind of a resistance to that. Like, she knows what's coming. It's actually difficulty check, I think, not challenge. She's used to being hit on, but because she rolled low, and again, I wouldn't have to roll for her. I could just be like, an 8 doesn't succeed. I set her DC as like a 16, because she's very immune to this flirting. But we'll say she liked something about you. She liked your giant hammer and the fact that you're small. She thinks it's kind of cute, actually. So that's why it's going to work. She rolled 4. But I wouldn't say she rolled a 4. I'd say, okay, so she actually seems interested. There you go. She's going to ask you, what do you have in mind if you want to do something with me? And then, Tomas, what would you like to do? You want to talk to anybody, order something, or there's some people to talk to? And DH, we're going to have you make... I'm going to ask, because the DM always asks what you guys are doing, never, like, tells you what you're doing. But I'm going to assume you're continuing to play, trying to make more money, and if you are, just tell me yes, and I'll roll another performance check for you. I am going to get some macros in here, some commands that let you guys roll the dice in the chat, so you literally would be rolling the dice. You can have an ocarina, absolutely. Now here's the funny thing. I was going to end, but we can keep playing D&D. Like, this is literally gameplay. So DH is playing his ocarina, I would assume. So if you say yes, I'll make a performance check. We should have named these characters. Yo, Sonic, what's up, dude? We're playing D&D right now. How you doing? So this character, this art, I actually made for a specific character. His name was Felrin. So we're going to call him Felrin. And the gnome, DH, what's his name? Make one more performance. 1d20 plus 5. 14's pretty respectable. So you finish off not as well as you started, but good enough that people are going to throw some gold coins in your... We'll say you have a hat or something you put out, and they give you money. This guy walks over, gives you 20 gold, which is pretty decent. And he just says, that was an amazing job. She comes up, and she'll give you... She's not, like, upset that you were better than her in that situation. She's kind of, like, being respectful and admires your skill. She'll throw you 5 gold just as, like, a professional, respect. And then you could keep talking to one of them or both of them if you'd like. Or you can do something else. Been playing Skyrim? Hell yeah. I use Skyrim and Oblivion for a lot of my inspiration for my D&D games. And then Tomas said he gets up and walks to the bar, asks the barkeep for food, and asks if they heard any news about jobs. So we'll say it's afternoon. He says, we've got some delicious ham, we've got some cheese, and you can wash that down with a beer. If that sounds okay, it's 3 gold pieces. As far as jobs, he kind of starts looking over in this direction at this individual in the corner. And you notice it because he wants you to notice that you're looking over there. And he says, you might want to talk to Lysandra over there. She might have some work for you. I don't know if it would be for you, sir, but you could definitely inquire. She's got a job or two. Although, and he kind of gets closer, he's just like, I'd be careful around her, though. You can continue to talk to him, you can ignore her, you can go talk to her. A female high elf with magic with a little archery. Dude, have you ever played D&D? Have we ever had that discussion? Anybody who likes Skyrim needs to play D&D. Like, it will blow your freaking mind. Luke, perfect. Luke, Felrin, and Dom. He's not good at counting coins. So what did I say? 20 and 5? So you made 25 gold with just a 10-minute maybe performance. That's pretty damn good. So, Frederick, did you answer about what the plan would have been? Because she accepted. She said, yeah, sure, we can go on a date. She says, I get off in 30 minutes for a break if you want to go somewhere. She's asking you to take lead. What do you have in mind? Sonic, if you want to join, we can assign you a character too. I could do this for a while, guys. I don't know how long you want to play, but I didn't plan any of this. I had this bar set up because I did use it for a game one time, but everything I'm saying right now is improv. This character's name, I didn't have a name for her. I thought of Lysandra because there's a champion in League of Legends that I used to use named Lysandra, and it's a female. We are just improving here. Her having jobs, I didn't plan for that. You want to play D&D? Bro, you came to the right place. I am a D&D freaking fiend. Let me know if you want to join. We can assign you somebody. Take her out for dinner and a nice walk. So it is around noon right now, and she gets off in a half hour. So it would be like, your date would be like from 12:30 to like 1:30. She gets an hour break. So when you suggest that, she says, we can have lunch here and then go for a walk or whatever you want. She's letting you take charge. She's not like in love with you, but she appreciates, I think it's that you are a shorter character, but she appreciates that you showed confidence in this scenario, asking her out. That's why she's saying, okay, sure, we can have a little time. Tomas is going to get up and walk to the woman to talk to her. Okay. We move you over here. We'll say you don't approach the table yet. You get like here. What you see is, and again, we can zoom in so I can show you, but it is a woman with a hood on, all black, and as you approach, she slowly looks up, and it looks like she has a small knife and she's carving something into a piece of wood. And she just looks up like she's questioning why you're here, but she hasn't spoken yet. She wants you to speak first. So you approach, she notices you. What do you do? And if we were IRL, I would have a map on a table with miniatures and we'd be doing the same thing. Same idea, just different setup. I was going to do it with my stuff, but my camera, I don't have a good camera right now, so this was the easiest way to show. I have to go soon to make dinner. Oh, Sonic, if you want to do that, you can. That sounds good, Tomas. Hope you had fun. I'm trying to get a group together to play like a legit D&D game on stream, so if anybody's interested, please DM me. Lumion's gonna play. Perfect. So Sonic, I don't know what you saw so far, so you're controlling Felrin. He's an elf druid. Not very good at social encounters, but very perceptive. And very good at reading people. He sat at the table, listened to some music. He talked to the barkeep. He ordered some food that's being made and a beer, which he has. And he asked about any jobs in the area, and this man, the barkeep, said to talk to this woman, but to be careful around her. And she notices you, and she's waiting for you to say something. Get to know her by talking with her because... So we'll just say you get food to go and you go for a walk. So her break was in 30 minutes. So we'll just say you talk to her, and then when she's on break, like during your talk, she goes back to work and, delivers some food and some drinks. She actually has Felrin's food, and she puts it at this table over here, not knowing where you want to eat yet, and just lets you know your food's there. She'll come back and talk to you when there's no business going on. Otherwise, she's going to go around continuing to work. I peek in on their conversation because of the curiosity of the knife. Make a perception check, because you're pretty far away. So the way you'd make a perception check is 1d20 plus this. Perception is wisdom. We can give you a +3 on that. And I can say she's pretty far away. So I'm going to make the DC 17. So you have to have a 17 to notice it, or higher. Wow, you rolled a 17 +3. This character's very lucky. So as you're counting your money, you just look up to, clock where your associates are and what they're doing. And you see this woman with a knife carving in the corner, and your associate Felrin is interacting with her. So you definitely noticed it, and that they're about to converse. Go up to her cautiously and ask, "You got some work for me?" She looks at you with kind of a cocky grin, and she says, "I have a couple jobs that need tending. What are your specialties? What are you good at?" As a druid, again, you're very perceptive. You're very good at survival, like being in the woods and knowing how to track things, what food to eat, what berries not to eat. You've got a little bit of magic. You're very good with animals. So what would you disclose to her? Just based on the picture, she can see you're very strong, very able. You're an elf. You carry a sword. You don't necessarily have the flame out right now. But what do you tell her? And DH, what do you do once you notice the knife? Do you do anything or continue playing? At this point, this is where most bard players would be like, I'm just going to keep playing music until people don't pay me anymore, and then they might go gamble. You all know that Dom has a deck of cards, so you could ask him for it if you wanted to gamble with somebody. And then while you guys are deciding what to do, this is an active world. Like, things don't just wait for you. So this guy is going to order some food. She's going to come up here, and she asked you about how you learned how to play music. I don't know if you answered her yet. And I'll say it again because it's really funny. We're playing D&D. This is it. This is a session. If you guys wanted to play, obviously you'd make your own characters however you want. This is just a little example. And again, I'm just making this up as I go. I didn't plan any of this. That's why most of the characters still don't have names yet. Like, Frederick asked out this waitress pretty much, but didn't even ask her name. Her name is Marianne. Because why not? Some skills with animals, and I'm very perceptive to things that, if that interests you. She thinks for a moment, as I think, to make up something. She says, "You're good with animals. I have a client, so to say, who, let's say, he comes to me and I procure animals for him as pets. He loves his animals, just like I'm sure you do. Would you be interested in, let's see, what did he need? He was looking for some spiders, and I don't mean the little ones, I mean the quite large ones that look like a They could be a dog with their size. Or bigger if you could find. Would you be interested in capturing some giant spiders for my client? I would pay... It's pretty dangerous because they are aggressive, especially this time of year. I will give you 200 gold per spider. 100 for the smaller dog ones, 200 for some that are like what's bigger than a dog but not gigantic. A wolf, a very big one, like a spider that could be ridden if you wanted to. Engage the woman. Okay, so as they're talking, you just kind of come up. You ignored the poor little bard. She was asking where you learned how to play. If you want to answer her, you can, or did you just walk away? So you hear the conversation, because as soon as you notice the knife, you came over. Now, I need an honest answer. 1 out of 10. How much are you enjoying this right now, guys? I feel like I'm just DMing again. Because I am. Now, sometimes, a session, like I said during the Q&A, usually between 3 and 5 hours. I've had sessions where it was nothing but combat, and I've had sessions where there was no combat. It's all up to what you guys do and how the world reacts. You forgot about her? You can say you told her something and then walked over if you want. Or we could say you were going to answer her, but you noticed that, and you just told her, excuse me for a moment, and you plan to go back. It's up to you. Again, you guys control everything about your characters, and I control all the NPCs. I'm the video game, I'm Skyrim, and you're your character. Sounds like a challenge, but I can manage that. I have history with aggressive animals. Nice, nice. 7.9, I'll take it. 100? Yes, it is very fun. I agree. 100. So you say that, and you notice your little... We said he was a halfling. Yes, a halfling. Your little friend that comes over and is listening, you notice that, because you're perceptive. She notices it as well. She doesn't really pay him any mind, though. Although she does say... She kind of looks at you a second, is like, your performance was very nice, actually. And then she goes back to Felrin talking business. And she says, I hope this is a friend of yours, and I hope you have some more, because they are very dangerous. I've lost, we'll call you guys employees. Some people I sent out to get spiders, and they have not come back. It's been weeks. I don't think they're coming back. What's up, Cross? How you doing, dude? We are playing D&D. Let me know if you want to be a character. We're just winging it right now and having a blast. I assigned everybody a character, gave them a little detail, and they're just playing. We're having a legit D&D session right now. If you just want to watch to get used to it, you can do that too. No pressure. This feels good, DMing again. It's been a long time. Just joined. I'm already enjoying this. It's so much. It's Skyrim, except you literally can do anything. Doing good? I'm doing great, thank you. I didn't think I'd stream today, and then I was like, I want to do a stream on the other channel. And we went over how to make a character. It took about an hour, because I was very detailed, and now we're just playing a session. Alright, you told her you'll be there in a minute. Okay. So she'll just wait. She'll actually order a drink. And this guy will head back to his table with... He's got some ham. Just a big old slab. And she'll get a drink, and she's gonna kind of just sit over here. Actually, she's a regular here, and she kind of works for them as like their performer. So she walks into the kitchen area and starts talking with this female chef. There's two cooks here. She knows this one, so they're having a conversation. Frederick is just rizzing up this waitress. We called her Mary Ann. So we'll say about a half hour goes by, Frederick. So she's on her break. You two can go for a walk. So I'll put you guys outside here, but you can be like, farther away. We'll just put you here for now. So now it's up to you as the player, Frederick, if you want to roleplay your date and, find out more about her, or just say, yeah, we'll go out for, the whole time of her break, and then we'll head back. And then we'll roll to see how well the date went. Frederick immediately just starts rizzing the first female he saw. I love it. There's always a player like that. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. My first character... my first character online, not the high school game, but the first time I played online with friends, I didn't understand any of this, so I just made a joke out of it. I made a character named Felix Longwood, and he was a druid, and he had a companion that was a monkey named Bubbles, like King Kai's Bubbles from Dragon Ball Z. Fun times. I didn't take it seriously at all. He didn't roleplay, he just did stupid stuff. You want to roleplay it? Alright, so... Again, she's been through this. She's had people ask her out and try to rizz her up a billion times. She works in a tavern and she's hot. She looks like that. So, she's letting you kind of steer the conversation. Like, she's waiting for you to make moves and... Not make moves, but, make conversation. So, you decide what you're talking about. This woman told you guys about the mission, if you would like to play, or if you would like to go after some giant spiders. And then during that conversation, actually, Sonic, she's going to say, the problem is... Now, what did you say? You said that you like animals? Let me look again. Oh, I dropped stuff. That's fine. You said you have skills with animals. Okay. So she says, I hope you're not exactly an animal lover. Let's just say this collector of animals, his pets, he doesn't treat them all that well. If that's okay with you, then maybe we can come to an arrangement. I have plenty of gold for plenty of spiders. And then she says, I don't know how capable you are, but I wouldn't want more than 2 giant spiders and 2 smaller dog-sized spiders. She doesn't know if you guys are level 20 and can just capture them all with no issue. She doesn't have that much gold. So now it goes to the druid. Are you a druid that loves animals and protects them and thinks they shouldn't be hunted and captured? Or you're screw it, I want money. You can be either one. Alright, you say, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. And she says, fine, we have a deal. And she says, I'm staying at this inn for however long it takes for me to get this job done. So, you know where to find me, if you come back. So, me as the DM, I'm trying to include everybody, like taking turns, but you guys can always just initiate and say something. Like, I asked Frederick to start the conversation. While I'm doing that, DH, you can be like, I do this while the stuff's going on. How long have you been working here? What are her hobbies? What are you looking for in a relationship? So at that point, you're being very forward. Like, asking her about her work and her hobbies is a perfectly normal thing to do on a first date. But asking about the relationship is a little too quick. You met her like a half hour ago. So she'll say, I've been working here about 5 years. I've been, what do they call them? We'll just say waitress, even though they wouldn't call it that. A barmaid. I've been a barmaid the past 20 years, though. But I've been working here at the Golden Lion. I just made that up. The Golden Lion Inn and Tavern for about 5 years. Hobbies? I actually like puzzles. And she means legitimate, like, jigsaw puzzles. Except they're probably a little more rough in this time. Probably, like, made of stone and not as intricate. As for your last question, I think that's a little too quick. And then she asks you what you do. And what your hobbies are. Money's money, it's not my business, but I respect my comrades' opinions and let them decide. Cool. Let's say I'm both of that nature with animals. Okay. As long as you're cool with it, she's like, alright, you're hired. So she will tell you that there's a bit of a problem to the south. The spiders have been very aggressive the past couple months. They usually stay in their cavern. There's a large cavern system. And they're pretty shy. Like, they usually wouldn't disturb anyone even in the cave. They were very passive. Not friendly, but they'd never attacked anybody. But last couple months, they have not only been aggressive, but they've left the cavern and started wreaking havoc outside of it. And she'll tell you, like, she'll pull out a map and show you exactly where to go from here. So you have the directions. Hobbies are helping anyone I can, and I love animals, including spiders. She immediately makes a face like, ugh. She's like, really? Spiders? My one fear. When one shows up in the tavern, I usually have one of the men take care of it. I won't go near those creatures. And that woman that was on the corner earlier wearing all black, she's trying to collect some spiders for one of her clients or something. I overheard her talking to a couple adventurers a week or so ago. See, this is the DM combining everybody into one thing, and then you're all like, yo, let's go get some spiders. And also, it's natural. That's something that she probably would have overheard. Frederick, you know that was coming, dude. You knew it as soon as you said that. Now, I just know that if Frederick made his own character... Frederick, you can make... I shouldn't tell you this. I really shouldn't tell you this. You can be a ranger and have a pet spider that can fight for you. Or you can be a druid and turn into a spider and either be a small one that sneaks around or a big one that can fight. I really shouldn't tell you that. You didn't think I was going to be like ill spiders? You thought I was going to say she loves them? She has a pet tarantula? So when you say that you love animals. She's like, oh, and then she said, including spiders, and she's like, oh. She's like, well, to each their own. I'm not really a fan, but just keep them away from me. Join that later, do it. Not only could you become a spider, but you could become like a green spider if you wanted to be green. I usually let our druids shapeshift into unique looking beasts if they want to, rather than just like another spider. We're talking way too much about spiders. I picked it for a specific reason as the job. I'm not going to say why yet, though. So, the two of you have the location of where to go. Your friend is out with this woman. We will say that her break is over. She thanks you for a nice time and says, I appreciate the time, but I have to go back to work, and maybe I'll see you around. She keeps it very casual. This is amazing. Dude, this is D&D. It's fucking amazing. We haven't even done anything. We've been talking to people in a tavern for like an hour. That's all we've done. And it's fun as hell. We didn't even get to the combat yet. Or the exploration. This is just the role-playing aspect. Oh my god. If he was a druid, he could do that. He could just turn into a spider and freak her the hell out. So, Frederick, you can say whatever you want to her as she's leaving, but she's going to end up going back to work. So she's working again. What do? You're back in the tavern now as well. You see your friends talking to somebody in the corner. Tell her I'm Spider-Man. She just gives you a look, and like she was interested in like maybe hanging out again sometime, but when you said that, she's like, she's done with you. Spiders are never good for Riz, bro. She'll still wait on you and like do her job, but she's not really interested in hanging out again. You blew it. This guy's eating. These two are having a chat. This guy's cooking. This guy's drinking his own wares. He's a dwarf. He loves to drink. Oh my god. I don't think he would do that. Unless he's evil. We didn't get into alignments. Because I don't really use them. You guys have probably seen like alignment charts for all kinds of characters. It comes from D&D. I don't really label people by their alignment. I just kind of like let them act as they would. Like Dom is not confident, so usually he wouldn't walk up to somebody and ask them out, but for some reason today he felt like he could. That was a joke? Okay, then what do you say? You could be joking. What do you actually say? She's still there. We can rewind. Alright, so you're shy. So she's like... So she didn't, like, make a face. She's like, oh, he likes spiders, but he was pretty nice. If the date was a 1 out of 10, between 1 and 10, it was like a 6. Like, she's not, like, super impressed, but he's a nice guy. Too bad he likes spiders. And you catch up with the boys. And we'll say that they finished talking with her because she gave you guys the job, she gave you the location, the details. So, for time's sake, we can say that you get caught up by them because they heard it. So you all know the mission. You all know the location. It is roughly 2 in the afternoon right now. It doesn't take that long to get there. You don't have horses. You got here on a cart, a wagon, because you were guarding it. And Luke was playing songs to keep morale up. So you guys have no mode of transportation right now. The guy who you were working for with the wagon has left. So, at this point, you can walk it and it would take a long time. You can maybe look into getting some horses. You're in a small village. This isn't just a tavern in the forest. You're in a small village. And you've seen horse stables. You could rent some horses or a wagon with horses. Or you can walk, or you can look for a ride. What would you like to do? You guys know that you have enough money right now to each get a horse, but it'll be like half of your money. We run. Well, Dom can run. That's fine, Sonic, as long as you can play when it's your turn to do stuff or if you're being talked to. That's true, you have a little bit more money. We'll just say for whatever that you all have 200 gold on you right now, and... No, we'll say 100. And the Bard has 125. And we'll say it's 50 to get a horse. Very expensive in this village, but they have the fastest horses around. The town's name is Vale, and they are known for having actually like really fast horses. It's not a scam. You've heard about this. You've never been here though. Again, making this all up, and I love it. Would ride instead of running. So, do you guys want to spend 50 gold per horse? You could also get, let's see. So 3 horses would be 300 gold. I'll say you could rent 2 horses with a wagon for 250. So do you each want your own horse, or do you want 2 horses and you guys ride in a wagon? And one of you has to steer it. It is up to you guys. You can also go to the stables and try to haggle with the stable master, which I'm sure you want to do. Actually, this would be a good way to introduce something else. Do any of the horses break the game? No, but one of them is going to be named Yoshi. Cross, you didn't answer before. Do you want to join and play, or you just want to watch and observe it? Or anybody else watching? We have 7 people watching. Holy crap, thank you guys. Did not expect that on this channel. That's amazing. I should have expected it. Are the horses Salmonella? So one of them's name is Yoshi, one of them is Manella. Actually, DH, you make a great point. You're a little halfling. You can probably fit on one of the horses with one of the other 2 guys. You'll just watch? Okay. Cool, cool. Thank you. Yeah, you're small, so you would only need 2 horses with no wagon if you wanted to just spend 200 gold instead. You're small. We can say a medium and a small creature can ride on one of these horses. Go into the wild grass area, find a horse, train a horse. That's how I get my own horse. Well, you assume that any horses around here have probably already been claimed and tamed by the stable master and his employees. So it'd be hard to find a wild horse. Not impossible, but you'd have to go pretty far, you imagine. We'll say that you go to the stable master. I don't have a map for that because I didn't plan any of this at all. The names, the mission, nothing. So you go to the stable master. His name is Dale. He's bald with a brown beard and mustache goatee. Little hefty. He's got kind eyes though. Looks like an honest man. Saddle up if you ride with me. How are you gonna split the cost? Are you gonna both pay 50 instead of 100? Split the horse and then Frederick pays 100 for his? Let me know how you want to do that. He's got horses ready to go. He's got Yoshi, Manella, and Ruby. They all look like healthy, strong horses. They're all about the same size. Ruby's the female, and the other two are males. Those are the three that he's like offering you that are like ready to go. Alright, so I think DH is saying you and Sonic can each pay 50 gold, and then you share a horse. So that's good. Yeah, you guys are saying the same thing. So we can just say you each pay 50 for the... Oh wait, I'm sorry. Did I say they were... I said they were 50, right? Yeah, no, because I was saying 3 is 300. Never mind. I don't know if I misspoke before. Each horse is 100 gold. Very expensive. They're known to have very fast horses. And Frederick wants to go find a stray horse. So here's a great example of something. So I say you can do anything in D&D, and that's true. Frederick can go look for a horse. But I have... let's see. So I've told you, like, a really good reason why you probably won't find a horse. That's usually the DM hinting, like, that doesn't really make sense here. It's kind of like the example I gave in a previous video of, like, if a monk rolls really high to punch a mountain and crack it in half, that's not going to work. They can roll at 1,000. It's still not going to work. So when I give you that hint that it's not going to work out, you might have to find an alternative. And you're saying you walk. Yeah, I said you pay 100 because they're going to split one because there's a little character that can ride with the big character. But he will say that, you know, you're buying 3 or you're buying 2 horses. You're splitting one. Business has been kind of slow for him. He says, look, your friends paid 50 and they got a mount. I'll let you have Ruby for 50. Just because you look like you need to get somewhere. Like I said, he's got honest eyes. He seems like a good guy. He's trying to help you out. He sees that, like, you don't want to pay double what your friends paid. Either it's going slow, he needs the money, or he has money, he just doesn't care. He's like, whatever, 50 gold's 50 gold. So now he's offering you to just pay 50 and get a horse. He's suggesting Ruby. Which horse did you guys take, by the way? Ruby, Manella, or Yoshi? You can do anything within limits. Now, if you wanted Frederick, if you were really stubborn about it, you could go out and look for a horse, and I would give you a fair chance, but it would be very difficult, meaning you'd have to roll very high to, like, find a horse near a village that is known to tame wild horses and make them amazing. It's essentially like you're looking for a wild chicken around a farm. Like, it's all taken up. So he offers you a deal so you don't have to pay double what your friends are paying. And he says, I can't go any lower, but at least you're paying the same as your friends. Oh, everybody wants Yoshi. You guys can figure that out. So, Frederick, the man really appreciates that. Dale, the stable master. He's like, I gave you a 50% off deal and you still want to pay me. That's very kind of you. Usually I ask for an extra little down payment just in case the horses don't return or you don't return for whatever reason, but based on this transaction right here, I trust you and your friends. Just be careful for yourselves and for my horses, please. So he's not making you do like a insurance down payment type thing. Most stable masters would definitely make you pay double and then give you half of it back when you return. I feel like Frederick needs to get Yoshi, but I'm the DM. You guys decide. Ruby's ready to go. Manella's ready to go. You just wait for Sonic. It'd be funny if Frederick doesn't get Yoshi, actually. He'd be like, well, I'm going to call Ruby Yoshi anyway. And again, these horses are trained to, like, take any riders, so they're not going to be, like, aggressive or not listen. They're very tame. So I just created a town, a bunch of NPCs, a full tavern of NPCs, and some lore about the town, and you guys created some stuff for the characters. Like what they would do, and that's driving the story. That's D&D right there, is I put stuff there, and you guys interact however you like. Some DMs are, like, they railroad their players. Like, if they had a different quest and you guys talked to Lysandra about the spiders, he wouldn't even bring that up, the DM. He'd be like, no, I need you to go this way. There's some goblins I planned for you to fight. But I let you guys do whatever. I let you guys take the story wherever. Should get a horse that's not Yoshi. If I don't get Yoshi, I'll take Ruby. So he's just there, like, with the horse's reins, like, just waiting for you guys to decide who gets who. He's getting some saddles ready, some feed bags for 2 horses. And I saw what you said before, Sonic, about Spark. I was also just trying to do DM stuff, but I saw that. He gives you guys some rope and says, you know, if you decide to, like, leave them somewhere while you go. I guess we would say he kind of knows about the spider mission because he gave horses to the other adventurers that never came back. So with that in mind, he says, I think I know where you're headed. Maybe he overheard it, because maybe he, I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's a small village, like I said. Word gets around. Your new adventurers in town, looking for a job. You're heading off to the south. He knows where you're going, so he says, if you're going after those spiders for that woman dressed in dark clothing, make sure you tie up the horses to a tree or something so they don't run away. They are tamed, but if you just leave them without tying them up, they will run away. Very important. So you guys get saddles, feed bags, and some rope. Cast lightning. So let's just say Frederick gets Yoshi and you guys take Ruby, and nobody likes Manella because of the name Salmonella. So now I'm at a point where we could do a small combat if you guys would like. I kind of want to save it, though. Leave on a cliffhanger. You wouldn't be completing the mission, but you would have, like, a combat encounter, I would say. Actually, this was just a tutorial. We will do a separate combat thing So we covered how to make a character, what's required, all the stuff. We did a little roleplay tutorial. We will do combat next time, I guess. Now, in that time, anybody here who would like to participate next time, you can either keep the characters that I assigned to you, or you can make your own. And if you want to make your own, just contact me and we'll make it work. I'll put whatever picture you guys choose in. I'll help you make the character. You guys want to fight? You know what? Then we're gonna fight. Let's see. Let me check one thing. You could definitely draw them. I usually just take pictures from Google. They won't exactly match, but it's up to you. I've had players draw their characters as their tokens. I get most of mine. A lot of these are just portraits of fantasy medieval characters, but I've got a ton from like Magic the Gathering cards have amazing art. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll take the 3 characters. And let me see if I have... Here are all my tokens. Just lots of tokens. Some races you haven't even seen yet. I'm looking for horses, because I know I have them. Usually I'd put out tokens of each horse and mark them so you know which one's which. For right now, we're not going to do that. Unless I have them... Oh wait, don't look at the screen. Spoilers. If you're playing, don't look at the screen for right now. I guess I can hide the screen, right? Cool. Alright, let me look. I think I might actually have horses on one of these other pages. Well, here's the thing, guys. If you want to make your own characters, I'm all about that. I just made up a couple for you to play. I would prefer if you made your own characters, which would take some time, so I'm definitely not able to do it on stream tonight. But if we're going to be doing a combat scenario, what I'd like to do is, why don't we end here? We'll make characters. I'll try to do this again next week around the same time, same day. And you guys, by then, will have your own characters, your own stats and abilities. And we'll continue the story as... Oh, I have a really cool idea. I have a really cool idea. So I'm going to propose something. You guys tell me what you think. I am 100% saying we're not doing combat today just because... I don't have, like, their abilities and stuff on hand. I could make them up, but it'd be much better for everybody if you made your own characters and, like, learned them. Instead of me being like, okay, Druid, here are your spells. Like, you'll have the list and you can choose whatever you want. So, we'll do combat if you guys are free around this time next week. My idea is, what if... when Lysandra was talking about another party that went to go do this mission and didn't come back, what if that was this group? We don't have to say like they died, but we can just say that they're the ones that went out and never came back. That's why we're not playing as them. And then your new characters got the job. In the same way, you got the horses, you're good to go already. You would just be your own characters. And I'm not promising a full campaign out of this because I do have other people that want to play, so we're trying to make like a group specifically for a large campaign. But next time we'll definitely do some combat and some exploration with your own characters. How does that sound? Now, if you guys really liked the character like DH, I have a feeling you enjoyed playing Luke. If you want to play a character similar to him, you absolutely can. I'm not saying don't play a gnome or halfling bard, whatever you guys want. Yeah, that was just an example of like the roleplay aspect. I knew somebody was going to ask that waitress out. I picked that character for a reason. Yep. So, if possible, you guys that we're playing, I'd like to do it. I'd like to make characters together on voice. It doesn't have to be on stream. I'm not going to stream making your characters. Maybe I'll record if you guys want. But if we can figure out a time where we're all free to get on voice and make characters, we can do that. It would be easier to do everybody at once rather than, having to do it 3 times. I will, but we'll see. Luke Skywalker. I just thought it was funny. He rolled a 20. First roll of that character's existence. Got a 20. Yeah, when we whenever I do a long campaign, like I said, Lumion's playing. I'm trying to get some other people. If any of you are interested, that will be voice chat. That will be streamed. That's going to be like a more detailed campaign. Again, I put no work into this and just improv. I still got it. I'm happy. I thought I might have lost that skill not doing it for like 10 years. He has the Force. He has some luck, I'll tell you that. Now, if you guys are making characters, I would suggest don't... just pick a cool combination of a race and a class and a... Here, let me post the things I showed you so you can have them. These links here. So, it's going to be a little weird because we're going to have to do... Give me 1 sec and I'll make it right. If you guys want to take screenshots, because all of these other weird races are from like other... Like one's from outer space, one's from like modern. We're doing only stuff from the player's handbook. And yes, there are turtles. There are turtles. But to keep it simple, because everybody's new, I want to just use player's handbook races, which are all of these. So if you see a couple you like, write them down, just so if I give you this link, you have to like do what I did, like close all these. I think it's easier just to take a screenshot or write down ones that look interesting to you. You can like rewind the stream when I end and all that, so you can get all the info. And then we want Barbarian, Bard, Cleric. All these ones, up to Wizard. And then character backgrounds. Again, I'm going to go through them. You can... Like, if you want to be a pirate, you can type in pirate background D&D 5e. And it'll tell you, like, what you get, what this means. I guess just DM me what you're thinking of playing, and we'll figure it out. So, I'll plan for next week around the same time. If everybody's available, that would be cool. Let's see, where is... Yeah, it's homework, but... I mean, I know everybody had fun. I know I did. So I had made this setup the way it was for a potential game I was trying to run. It never came to fruition. But aside from picking this tavern as the map and having the tokens out. I didn't plan anything. This guy was here as an NPC that maybe would want to gamble. These two weren't even here. I threw them in just to have extra characters. This guy was here. So I had the map like this pretty much, and she wasn't even here. There were some other characters I'm not going to put out. They didn't have names or any missions or jobs for you guys. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to do it all at once with everybody, Sonic. So if you need help with something specific, I can explain it to you, and then DH and Frederick would get the info as well. So I'm not saying the same thing 3 times. Make a group with us, and we can group chat. How about that? Oh, it's still black? Here. I thought I put it back up. Oh, during all the crap I was saying? Okay, so I'll do it one more time. So, from Dragonborn all the way down to Tiefling are the options. So they give you a little taste of what they are like. You can Google it to get more information on them. For classes, we go this Barbarian. Make sure it says 2014. Down to Wizard. And the character backgrounds are these options. If you search 5e Player's Handbook backgrounds, it should also give you these same ones. You can Google Pirate, like I was saying. Yeah, make a group chat. And then, so just pick a combination you think might be cool. Anything can work. You can have, I've had an NPC that is a, where is he? A halfling, a hobbit pretty much. Literally, it's Frodo. And he was a monk. Like, doing karate. And he fucked people up. He was very quick. I had him as a contender in a tournament the players were fighting in. And he eliminated 2 of the players. In separate fights. He 1v1'd them both. He just rolled really well. It was funny. I forgot his name. He had a funny name. But yeah, I'm glad I gave you guys a taste of it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Again, you've experienced 1/3 of the game. That was just role-playing. The other pillars, as they call them, are combat and exploration. Which we could do next time. We'll talk in the group chat. I might add Lumion to it, see if she wants to get in on it. Because she wants to try it as well before committing to like a campaign. We'll talk in the group chat, but I'm going to end it here. Because I'm hungry. I didn't expect to go this long. Thank you guys for coming through and supporting the new channel. I did not expect to run a session, but that was fun as hell, guys. You all did great. That was a lot of fun. We'll talk. Have a great night, y'all. What's your name? I do that too well. I've seen it too often. Alright, guys. Have a great night.